This week, as Rabbi Linder said, we commemorate Yom HaShoah. We know that the Jews that were living in Germany and Eastern Europe in the 1920s and 30s felt very at home in the countries that they lived in. They felt secure, they had nice homes, good jobs. But the truth is that they had little power. And as Hitler and the Nazis came to power, the new government took concrete steps to centralize power even more, taking away the free media, silencing dissenters, and legislating away rights for various groups. Over just a few years, the Jews found themselves with very few options. They were marginalized, vulnerable, and they had no other country committed to taking them all in. Between 1938 and 1945, 80% of the 80% of the rabbis in the world were killed. And 80% of the Jews of Eastern and Central Europe were also killed. Much of world Jewry and many of the key centers for Jewish learning were destroyed. One of the lessons to come out of the Holocaust, as Rabbi Linder mentioned, is the importance of having a Jewish homeland, a place where Jews can always go and be free. After the Holocaust, Jews worked very hard to establish the state of Israel. And next week, we will celebrate Israel with Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel Independence Day. Also, Jews worldwide set out to rebuild Jewish life, not to allow Hitler to destroy Judaism. They felt, and we still feel, that Judaism is an amazing path of life. It is our path of truth and holiness. And we know that Judaism has so much to give to us and the world. Jews after the Holocaust were extremely committed to continuing our beautiful way of life. They had children, they built new synagogues, they made sure that Jewish life flourished. Which leads us to today. Now it is up to us. We are blessed to live in a country where we are free to be Jewish, to express our identity, to keep our faith proudly, and to raise our kids as knowledgeable, practicing Jews, which is what we do at Solel. As part of that education, we make sure to teach our kids about the Holocaust and its lessons. So our 7th graders have studied about the Holocaust this year and also about becoming young adults, right? It's the year of Bar Bat Mitzvah. So I will let their teachers tell you more about what they have been studying. We're so fortunate to have Mrs. April Goodman and Dr. Jay Levinson as the teachers for this wonderful group of students. So let me bring up their video. Give me just a minute here, everyone. Okay. Let me share my screen with you. All right, so we are going to learn about what our students have to say about Jewish legacy. First, I want to share with you this wonderful picture talking about the year of Bar Bat Mitzvah. Here is Dr. J at his bar mitzvah and April Goodman at her bat mitzvah. So lovely to see those pictures and to know that here they are as adults continuing to teach and to hold Judaism so dearly in their hearts. So that's just so lovely. So here are our teachers talking about the class.
The goal of this class is to remember the Jewish values and traditions that were preserved and struggled for during the Holocaust. The essence of the study provides examples of people who showed courage and resistance against Hitler, and also to see examples of contemporary and/or historical people who can serve as models for living a purposeful life, providing tikkun olam acts, and living as a mensch. Dr. J.
The focus of this curriculum is to support students as they develop their unique Jewish identities. In class, we examine, discuss, and respond to Jewish perspectives and ideas about topics such as gratitude, renewal, journeys, hope, being a mensch, immigration, responsibility, and legacy. These discussions serve as a complement to the students' special and transformative bar and bat mitzvah year.
So they each spend part of the morning with Dr. J and part with Mrs. Goodman. And they were invited to share with you their perspectives on passing down important aspects of Judaism as their Jewish legacy. So now let's hear from our 7th graders.
The responsibilities for me as the next generation is to teach my children all of the traditions that we have and to have them understand how lucky we are to be Jewish. I will tell them why it is important to have a bar/bat mitzvah and celebrate the holidays. Finally, I should teach them about what has happened in the past and about all of the things that I have done to fulfill my duty as a Jewish person.
God said, "Take to heart these words that I give you today. Repeat them to your children." As the next generation, we need to continue to be actively involved in the Jewish community and teach others what we know so that they can pass it on too. My grandparents have told me all about their experience in the Czech Republic, and I would like to tell others this story too.
I can tell the stories of the Jewish people, go to temple, Hebrew school, and participate in the holidays. The most important is that we teach them and have them do a bar or bat mitzvah.
The responsibilities for me as the next generation to pass down the legacy of Judaism is to pass down the story of the Torah, to tell the stories of our struggles, and to tell the story of our conquests.
My responsibilities are to educate others about what I have learned and to tell future generations stories of what has happened to the Jewish people so that history does not repeat itself in a bad way. I will also carry Judaism with me throughout my whole life.
Okay. My responsibilities as a Jew is to pass down family traditions and Jewish holidays that we celebrate. With that knowledge, family traditions will be honored.
Some of my responsibilities to pass down to the next generation include supporting my temple, teaching others about events in Jewish history, showing the legacy of our family trees, and celebrating life cycle events.
It is important that I raise my children in the Jewish faith.
The responsibilities I have as the next generation is to carry on Judaism throughout my life and spread it to my family and people that are close to me.
To teach them religion and tradition.
The responsibilities for me as the next generation is passing on traditions such as having a bar bat mitzvah, celebrating holidays with our family, and going to temple. This is important because I think we need to continue the story and traditions with our children and grandchildren because they need to know the history of the Jewish people and how we as a family celebrate it.
I would celebrate all the holidays, especially Passover, because of its importance, our idea of freedom. This way they can learn how lucky we are to be Jewish and able to practice our religion freely.
For me, the responsibilities of being the next generation is to make sure that traditions stay true to themselves and that they don't get changed. Also to create new traditions for coming generations and to make sure the history's bad memories do not happen again.
The responsibilities that I have as the next generation to pass down the legacy of Judaism is to carry on the traditions and stories of our people.
My responsibility is to pass down the lessons, stories, history, and traditions of Judaism to the future generations.
My responsibilities are to pass down my knowledge to my kids. I need to encourage my kids and myself to keep in touch with my Jewish side, which means I should stay active in my temple and always be open to learning more about my Jewish heritage and being proud of who I am.
There's many ways to pass down the legacy of Judaism to the younger generations. You can pass down your heritage by teaching what happened in the past so that it does not happen again. You can talk with others and what it was like for them. For example, you can talk to your grandpa or grandma about their bar and bat mitzvah. Another way to share your heritage is by passing down a talit from generation to generation.
What are the responsibilities for you as the next generation to pass down the legacy of Judaism? I think it is to educate the next generation on our traditions. Traditions are important because they help people in the future learn about what happened in the past.
We need to teach others about what has happened and hold our Jewish identity in our hearts. We need to remember and help others. We need to be our own Ner Tamid and the Ner Tamid for others. We need to always help others no matter what their identity is.
I believe I should observe Jewish holidays and have a temple membership when I'm older. I think it is important to support the growth of Judaism and ensure that there are faithful observers in the future. That is how I'll pass on the legacy of Judaism.
Wow. So I want to thank our 7th graders. You give me such hope for the future, for Jewish continuity and for Judaism being bright into the future. So thank you so much. And to Dr. J and Mrs. Goodman, you have done such an amazing job teaching, and we're so grateful for all that you share with our students. So thank you to 7th graders and to your teachers.